And welcome back to Love Your Food. This week we have another really simple and quick recipe for you. This is some more preserving. We are doing sort of a Moroccan-style preserved Calamondin. Now these are a small citrus fruit that you can buy. They sell them as an ornamental tree, sometimes called calamassis or calamondis. And here's our ingredients. It's going to be very simple. We have our little Calamondin fruit. We have a jar. And we're going to be using some salt to preserve these in. So the first thing you want to do, now we got these off of our, we have a Calamondin tree. It lives in a pot in our living room in the winter, and it lives outside in the summer. And we get these beautiful little fruits and really amazing fragrant blossoms when it's in blossom. But you do want to give them a wash. Just make sure they're good and clean. So we're just going to run them through a strainer here. Make sure they're well rinsed off, good and clean. We don't have to worry about chemicals or anything on them. These come from our living room, so they're reasonably clean. So as with all of our preserving recipes, we are going to be using salt. Now these little citrus fruits, you want to cut them along the midline, the hemisphere, because it's the easiest way to get the pits out. Now, for these little citrus fruits, they have really large pits. You do want to try and get them out as much as you can. They don't really add any flavor or anything to the preserve. Now, they might add pectin, so if you're making something like a marmalade, you might want to use them, but they're not. They're quite bitter and not a really good flavor. So, what you're just trying to do is get the pips out at this point and get your citrus into the salt. Now we don't need to add water to this as these sort of cure in the salt. The liquids are all going to come out of it. So we're going to get a layer of the Calamondins down, and then we're going to add another little sprinkle of salt. Now, as with any preserved foods, we do want to get up to that 2% point of salt content. This one's actually going to end up being quite a bit higher. The traditional Moroccan sort of preserved lemons, which this is inspired by, do have quite a higher percentage of salt in them. You do want to try and get as much juice as you can. You saw in that last shot, Chef Caleb was scraping some of the juice off of the cutting board and putting it in there. So once you've got a full jar, you've got all your Calamondins processed, you've got all the pits out, you've got them all in the jar together. And if you get a few pits in there, it's not a big deal. So we've done a layer of fruit, a layer of salt, a layer of fruit, a layer of salt all the way through. And then we're just going to add another quick little layer of the salt on top. And give that a little shake, make sure that everything's well combined in there. And really, that's the whole recipe. I mean, this is one we started earlier. So this one's been going for a couple of months already. So you can see it's got that kind of syrupy juice that has come out. It looks quite sweet because it's syrupy, but it's actually salty. It's going to be a very strange flavor. It's salty and sour at the same time because these little Calamondins are very, very tart. Now, you can use any kind of very thin-skinned citrus for this. Something like a key lime would work probably well. It would work very well with something like a kumquat as well. Regular oranges and lemons, probably not the best for this. But that's it. So it's really simple. We use this actually as a lemon replacement in hummus. Just blend it up with the rest of the hummus. You can see that in our hummus recipe. And if you like this recipe, please do like and subscribe. And if you have any recipes you'd like to see Chef Caleb try on the channel, please let us know in the comments below. And remember to love your food.